The next thing we're going to do is we're going to delete this southern road so that I can extend out to where the future highway is going to be. So you just click and drag. Okay. Well. Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm your host, Shadow Dad Gaming, and today is part 5 of our gridless city challenge. If you've missed previous episodes, to catch you up, I've created a city that has 0 grids in it, and so far, it's been successful. We're at a 30,000 population and making almost 2 million a month. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about and show you the importance of rebuilding as I destroy half of my city. And we're going to finish up the challenge. Without further ado, let's build. So one of the things that was absolutely plaguing my city is the previous person who designed it. Me. Traffic was horrible with accidents happening in 5 different parts of my city constantly. Demand was skyrocketing and it felt like unless I built 1,000 kilometers more of roads, there wasn't enough space for everything. So I just started deleting. I deleted my interstate, I deleted neighborhoods, I deleted my entire industrial zone. I just deleted it all. I think one of the most important things to realize in city skylines is you don't have to be married to your first design. Just like real towns and cities, technology, infrastructure, civil services, they all advance and they adapt to the needs of the city. We should be willing to do the same thing in city skylines to ensure our cities are efficient and continue growing. So when in doubt, I always say, rebuild. So the reason I decided to destroy my industry zone is for 3 reasons. The first is it was taking up a lot of space without an efficient output. Industrial zones always feel clogged and closed in because businesses want to get the most money in return for the least amount of land. The second reason is because traffic was horrid. I had one road that went from the interstate to the train yard to the factories to the services to a mine, and this was just clogging up the road. Bad. The third reason is aesthetics. I was trying to make it look like, over time, the industrial zone was built into the hill from the city, and it just didn't look natural to me. So I destroyed everything that was cheap, moved the expensive stuff out of the way, and then I got to work. So after a bit of terraforming, the first thing I did is I started thinking about the main arterial roads that would lead up and down my industrial zone. I wanted a road that trucks could quickly go up to get to their factory and down to get out. The next thing I did is I started terraforming rows from the road on the right to the hill on the left. The way I did this is by grabbing the leveling tool, picking a portion of the road, and then leveling from there all the way to the hill till I hit the even portion of the hill. This would allow me to create a road system that could easily wind up the hill and connect the arterial roads at different points to decrease the amount of traffic that was coming in and out of the industrial zone. The way I built these roads is almost as if there was retaining walls used to support the ground underneath them. These may be called quay walls, but I think that's only if they're near water. If I'm incorrect, comment below and let me know the actual name. Regardless, I thought it looked really neat and they're super easy to do. If you want to do them, you just have to make sure that the area above and below is leveled. You switch your road height to 2.5 meters, drag over the terrain, and wait until you see that wall. Once you see that wall, you just click, drag, and you can start building. I try to maintain an angle of about a -0.2 to a 0.2, otherwise they look kind of unnatural. These turned out really nice and look very professional for an industrial zone. I can't wait to see them built in. After cleaning up a bit, I realized this is where our mine originally was, so I had to find a location close by and replace it. We don't want to see our income go down after renovating this entire city. And this was a big contributor to that revenue. So I placed it down, built it as big as I could, and moved on. Shortly after, I built a couple more roads that went in a circle around our city center to prepare for a highway system. I also had to move a big portion of our coastal city to make room for a highway that would run close to the airport. Once that was complete, it was time to build our highway system. But how on earth was I going to do that? I honestly had the absolute worst time trying to figure out a plan for how this highway was going to look and how it was going to operate. Was it going to do a loop around the entire city? Was it going to do just one interstate? At the end of the day, I decided that maybe the easiest way for my brain to build this was to start at the ends. How did I want my citizen to get into and leave portions of the city? So I ended up creating a highway that ended at the industrial zone, one that ended at the airport, one that ended at the city center, or should I say 3 that ended at the city center, and meshed those all together in one massive pre-built interchange. And I promise, that's the only pre-built intersection I used. The rest I designed and built as I went, as if someone with ADHD was building this interstate. Yes, even this one. Honestly, I have no idea what I was doing when I created this, but hey, it works. Next is going to be our transit system. When destroying half the city, I went ahead and destroyed all of the railroad lines and subway lines. So before we tell our citizens to start going back to work, we should probably ensure their ride exists. When doing the rail, I tried to focus on long, sweeping tracks that went across the countryside. At portions, they stay closer to the interstate. While replacing my train station in town, I decided to add one to the coastal town, since there are more tourist attractions out there. Also, I was hoping this would increase usage for citizens going between coastal town and Central City. For the subway, I redid the lines, making the top and bottom of Central City just one line that goes back and forth. I then connected the top line to the industry and the bottom line to the coastal city. Sure, maybe a citizen wanting to go to work from coastal town has to get on a subway to go to Central City, and then has to go on a subway to get to the north part of Central City, and then has to get on a subway to go to the industrial zone, but it works, so we're not going to question it. With that, we have made it to 50,000 with an income of over 10 million a month. We did it! And this is why I say rebuild. My income just 10,000 citizens ago was a fraction of this, and my population growth was so slow. But rebuilding and making it better not only made these next clips pretty to look at, but the city working. Thank you everyone for watching, and if you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to subscribe. It's free and supports me. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and if you didn't, leave some feedback in the comments. Till next time.